I thought I'd give a quick list of tips on how to up your acoustic gain. This is the internet. You can look everything up, and you might find 30 different opinions. I figured I'd pare it down as short as I could, although I've been known to be a little long-winded. And another reason I'm doing this is, over the years, I've met a lot of people who are really competitive in the sense that they don't like to give away too many tricks, because if you win, they lose. And avoid those people. So the first step, if you listen, you probably hear an annoying buzzing sound, and that is my humidifier. And humidity control is very essential, especially in the Omaha area, because our winters are very, very dry, and our summers are very humid. And what that translates to on acoustics is woods like your fingerboard will kind of shrink a little when it's dry, and then expand when it gets humid again. And then as it keeps doing that, the wood can crack, especially if it's dry. And then inside the acoustic is unfinished, and there's a lot of braces if you want to feel around under there. And these provide support, otherwise the guitar will kind of do a pretzel act and kind of fold in and become unplayable. So if you see guitars that, you put your hand between here, it's probably because it hasn't been maintained and it's got some structural damage, and avoid that. And if you take care of your guitars, it won't guarantee 100% that this won't happen, but if you don't control your humidity and your temperature control, it's very likely that your guitar will get damaged in the long run. And then related to that, don't leave your guitar in a car, because really anymore there's 2 or 3 months of the year that the weather isn't oppressive and damaging in your car to like people, pets, and instruments. And then if the weather doesn't damage them, people steal guitars out of cars. I've known 3 or 4 people personally who this has happened to, and there's really no good reason to leave a guitar or kids or pets in a car. So don't do it. And then when you have good humidity control, once you get your guitars set up, the necks won't move around too much. So like I said earlier, when it gets humid, this wood will expand a little bit, and then it'll kind of develop some back bow, and then if it gets dry, it'll develop forward bow. So the forward bow usually means the action is really high, and then the action means the distance between the string and the fret, and then back bow sometimes means this will decrease. And if you have it set relatively low, back bow will cause the strings to buzz kind of in the lower position. Not here, but if you have that. So number 2, get your guitar set up. Even if you're getting guitars from good builders, sometimes it's not set up very well, which is a little frustrating. But if you're in Omaha, there's plenty of shops to go to get your guitars adjusted. Dietz and JJ Guitar Repair come to mind. That's where I'd probably go. There's probably others. I just don't venture out too much. But what this does is they'll adjust the relief in the neck, which is with the truss rod, and then cut the nut slots a little lower, maybe lower the saddle a little bit, or if the saddle's too low, shim it, which means I'll put something under it to raise it, so it's kind of at that right level where you get volume, some sustain, and it's not too hard to play. On an acoustic, you can't have the strings really low, like on a shred heavy metal guitar, where you're just playing really fast, because you need the acoustic to have some natural volume. But at the same time, you don't want it so hard that your hands are straining, that you're having trouble playing it. And then back to humidity control. As long as you've got control of that, your setups will stay good. When the seasons change. So, I have a humidifier running in the winter, and then in the summer, I typically have to run 2 dehumidifiers in my bass to keep it where I need it. But yeah, you don't want the guitar to be hard to play. And if you notice all of a sudden it's like, oh, my strings are all flat, that probably means it's a little dry. And then if they're sharp, it means it's probably a little humid. And then you always want to make sure you're checking, because if the guitar stays sharp for a long time, tuning-wise, it can put a little more tension on the body and the braces, and that can do some damage. And then the third thing is get good strings. And I like to use elixirs. They're a little more expensive, but they last a really long time, which means less restringing, more time playing. The only thing I'll say with caution with strings is make sure you're getting the right kind of strings, because some guitars aren't built for super heavy strings. One time I was at Dietz Music and I saw a baritone, and they had a warning on it that says, do not tune this to normal tuning, because the neck was longer for lower tuning, the strings were thicker. So if you would have tuned it to regular E standard, then that would put enough tension on it to cause some damage. So just make sure you're using the right kind of strings. And like on a classical guitar, never use steel strings, because that's way too much tension. And then I've actually seen an Esteban that was like, I could put my hand, probably my arm between the neck and between the string and the fretboard. And just make sure you're using appropriate gauges. And you can always go lighter, but don't go heavier. So the next thing is kind of purpose. So, a lot of people, when they say an acoustic, they just kind of have this generic idea, something that's not plugged in. So, maybe something like this comes to mind, maybe something bigger, maybe something smaller. But, kind of pick the kind of guitar that you need. This is a dreadnought, although it's kind of a modified dreadnought, where a lot of dreadnoughts are good for flat pickings, which this is. But a lot of regular dreadnoughts, when you start playing fingerstyle, will sound a little stiff because they're built to be played hard. And this one's more modified bracing, and this one is more fingerstyle friendly. So it's along the lines, instead of like a D28 is more closely related to an HD28. But kind of pick the guitar to what your needs are. So like if you have a really small guitar and you expect it to be tuned really low or played really loud, like in an ensemble with other people, it's probably not. The good thing with small guitars is they're really responsive. They play really well the fingerstyle, but they just don't have that upper level volume or great lower register. And then like I said, normal dreadnought is really loud but not really responsive. But your OMs and auditorium guitars are more all-around guitars that can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe not as responsive as a small guitar, maybe not as loud as a dreadnought, but good enough. And then, if you can, try to get something with a solid wood top, not laminated, and try to avoid something that's maybe too cheap and overbuilt. That just means, when they say overbuilt, that means this guitar, they're anticipating you're not going to take care of it, so they build the bracing really strong, which is more durable, but the more bracing you put in, the less sound you get, because it just kind of deadens the top. And then next is form. Not to get all obsessive about details, but I've got footrest, I'm in a chair at really a good comfortable posture, and this is so I can practice a long time. A lot of people say when they play their dreadnought on a couch, it's uncomfortable because they're hunching and slouching, and dreadnoughts sound really good to me, so it's just like, well, then don't play it on the couch. It's like, I've never heard someone famous say, I like this guitar, it sounded great, but I just can't play it on the couch. When you're playing with people, you're generally not on the couch. And then the last is practice. It sounds pretty basic, but there's a lot of electric guys who, they don't practice acoustic. And, it kind of shows, because, you have to play a little bit harder, but not a ton. So So when you hear them play, they're just really struggling and kind of playing a little hard because they're not used to it, or maybe a little antsy just because they know, again, they're not used to it. So, I mean, and then if you have an acoustic and you still want to play electric, you still have to practice electric. It's not one of those things that's like perfectly interchangeable. Like, I like to play really fast leads on guitar, so that means I have to put this down and grab it. It's not rocket surgery. But then when you factor in that people don't practice, they're also usually not maintaining it. The guitar's not set up well, and they're really laboring over it. And if you put a little time and effort and practice and maintenance and putting good strings on it, it'll sound good. But going out and about, when I see guitars that aren't set up good, they don't have good strings, the guys aren't practicing, I mean, it's like, it shouldn't be too surprising. That doesn't sound very good. But when you put the time and effort into it, it sounds much better. And that's all I have to say.